Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage, stood next to Muddy Purdy. What we're going to do is finish off the install on the Adamesh Stage 1, Stage 2 exhaust system. Honest to God, not been trying to drag this thing out, just been doing it in short installments because I'm not around at the moment too much, and weather has been against me, but that seems to be correcting itself. Got a few things to show you on the bench. Firstly, demonstrating I've been away, we're still on February. So bye-bye James Dolman and Eeyore. Lovely picture. And also bye-bye to John Bulkwill, Richard Watkins, Terry Collins, Steve Bass, Gareth Miles and Richard Smith. And yes, there are 3 Richard Smiths, by the way, because people are saying, that ain't me. And we flick over onto Ryan Daines, very arty, moody shot of his 1998 XK8 Coupe in Norfolk, which, like Lincolnshire, has what we call big horizons, meaning it's quite flat land. It does give a special effect to skies. And on this page, we also have a beautiful picture of a car coming out of Castle Gates. We have Alistair and Mary Andrews, Andrew Major, who's known to a lot of us as Oak Tree 3. We've got Andy Keir, we've got Andy Littler, and we've got Anthony Clark. And by now you've probably twigged that when I was arranging all the small images, the thumbnails, I just went alphabetical by first name, which was just my way of saying, and randomly. So, yep, nice new picture. Next, it was kind of alluded to, but not really shown in the last video. So, the Adamesh kit comes with these, perfectly adequate, I guess zinc-coated steel brackets. I keep calling them brackets, I don't know why. Exhaust clamps, sorry. And they're the U-bracket or shackle variety. And the huge advantage of these things is they're massively powerful. So you've got 2 decent 8mm bolts that are pulling up a guillotine. And this slides together and it definitely makes a good contact crimp on your exhaust. The negatives of these things, one is practical from having them around you point of view. You see it on there, it says 60mm. The radius here is only really good on this clamp for 59, 60, 61mm pipe. There's not really a lot of tolerance before it just smashes the pipe out of shape. If you use too big a clamp, you get 2 points of contact and it's just going to squash the pipe there and there. And if you use too small a clamp, so simulate like that, then yeah, the pipe will probably go inside here, but the edges of the clamping bracket, the guillotine, will bite heavily into the sides of the pipe here and distort it, and in that case not actually give a very good seal. But these won't let go. They're brilliant in that regard. I don't like using them because they're not pretty. On most cars that wouldn't matter, but I'm fitting a nice stainless steel exhaust system with very few kinks and marks on it, and I just felt these looked a little bit industrial. And the other one is, if you want to remove your exhaust later, these do tend to leave crimp marks, which translate through the inner and the outer and just make removing things quite difficult. So, they're standard. I replaced those with one of these. People call them band clamps, bobbin clamps, or T-nut clamps. Whatever you choose to call them. They are a much prettier, more engineered solution. They clamp from one side, but their action is actually a whole 360-degree tightening. So as long as they're good quality and working correctly, they sort of spiral round and clamp in all directions, so they're very good from that point of view. They're also stainless, they don't stick out all over the place, and they have a bit of range to them. So this is a, there we go, 5659. So that's good. The W5 just means it's stainless steel. So they're really good, but this size, 5659, typically comes with a 6mm or M6 bolt. So M6 thread, 10mm hex actually on the top here. And that's also in stainless steel. And the reason that it doesn't really get any bigger, I don't know if you can see in this picture or not, the bolt is practically touching the inside of the band. If you have a bigger bolt, then you have to come away more from here, and it's just a little bit less elegant. However, whilst tightening these up on my exhaust, that happened. So we got a fracture at the neck of one of the bolts. And for engineers amongst you, conchoidal markings. So that's a fatigue fracture. So that just means that rather than necessarily going bang, this has probably gone like that about 3 times, I think, before it's let go. So that's the combination of maybe this not running true in its little seat, causing it every time I tighten it to sort of wobble. Plus this just not being man enough, not thick enough. So should go back to those, but I didn't. I spent more money, and now I've got these. These are M8 band clamps. Again, the 5659 W5s. These have got a much more manly bolt through. They've got nice spacers here. The actual bolt is a standard bolt, so it can be replaced. And how this is achieved, if I just remove this one, give you the clue, is there's a slot in the clamp, allowing some of the thread to have that extra 1mm of space to move around in. And yeah, so completely OTT. I want to have them, so I bought these. And anybody who's interested, I got these from Car Builder Solutions in the UK, which is actually a company I've used a few times and always been very good. When I used to be well into kit cars in the past, there are sort of 2 big suppliers of kit car parts, which just means a wide range of parts, if I'm honest. And Car Builder Solutions was one. Europa Cars, or Double Europa Cars used to be the other one. Anyway, now and again you find some really good stuff from them. These people were the only people I could find offering the M8 in this size, 5659 clamps. They weren't stupidly cheap, I've got to say. So $7.50 plus VAT in the UK means essentially these are £10 a shot. But yeah, that's what I've gone for. I'll put a link in the description below for anybody else who wants to do the same, but it's a me thing, not a need thing. I think you'll agree, significantly nicer than that. Okay, so next morning, got the garage doors open. I've finished finessing the positions of the tailpipes in terms of the apertures, so up, down, left, right. If you want to see more about that, check out the video on installing stage 1, because I go through all the adjustments you can make there. What I want to do now is adjust the length of the tailpipes, clamp them up, and then it's starting the engine, warming through the fire gun, so it all seals up properly. Check for leaks. Once it's warmed through once, just give all the clamps a bit of a pinch off, and we're done. And I'd love to say then I'll go and do all sound tests, but if I turn you around, you can probably see water on the lens. It is raining. It's a bit of a manky day, so I don't think that's going to be happening, if I'm absolutely honest. So I have had a few people say, "You're half drawing this out, John." It's not an intention. As I have explained to a few other people, I'm enjoying doing this, so I'm not really rushing it for any reason. But whether having to go to work, other bits and pieces, means it takes as long as it takes. So I'll get it started today. You'll hear it running. Finish off this, finish off the tail trim adjustment, and then I'll do a separate video. But it's purely comparisons of the sounds, and because I have a bit of a bank of clips now, what I'll do is a lot of set pieces for either sound level and how it sounds on standard versus stage 1, stage 2 in quick succession, so that you've got a full range of befores and afters, along with some just driving experiences with a new exhaust. So let's get on with final fettling. For me, these are a little bit long. They're fine, they're legal. In the UK it has to be not the thing that protrudes the most from the rear of the car. But I'd like them back a little bit further. And the snag to that is, although it's a sleeve over a pipe, there's a few little burrs and weld splatters and bits and pieces like that mean you knock it back, it goes to there, which is the sort of standard or nice position. It means the pipe reaches the end of the tube, but it won't slide on easily any further. So might need to get me a little knocker. There he is. So these aren't clamped on. Yeah. So it's a plain tube, but there's a few burrs and bits and pieces around the threaded holes and a tiny bit of a lip. All that means it won't easily slide on to this. So I'm just going to address that with file. Using a half round file. Yeah, the biggest issue is where it's been welded on, it's slightly heat distorted the inside, so it might need a little bit of fettling to get that out. May even have to resort to the Dremel. Just that little ridge. Barely proud, but it is heat affected. It's just distorted the bore, and it's a very close fit. And there we are. So that's all dressed nicely inside, just to help me get them onto the position I want. So one final little bit of finessing I'm going to do, definitely not required, It's just me again. So the tailpipe trims come with this rather good clamping arrangement. So you've got these U-shaped brackets, and they've even got the curve of the exhaust there, and they're stainless, and they drop through the slots, and you've got stainless bolt, and that threads into the pipe, and then depending on how much you tighten them up, depends on how much those teeth come through and bite into the pipe, and they're in 3 positions. That's great. However, me I again just trying to tidy up and make it look really, really sharp underneath the car. These are going to stand out quite a way. I can shorten the bolts, I can shorten the brackets to make them a little flusher, but because I've got them, remember I bought a lot of these stainless steel band clamps or T-clamps, and I've upgraded the ones that I've used on the exhaust to the bigger M8 bolt. So the lighter weight ones, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use this in that position there. So you'll, from underneath the car, near the middle of the car, I'll have this bolt head I can just use to tighten. Now on its own it won't tighten, this is pretty significant pipe. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Dremel to put a small slot here, here and here. Still leave all this intact so it's usable, and then that will draw the last section down really tight. They're a really good snug fit anyway, so again, total finesse, total over the top on my part, but that's what I enjoy. If you're going to repeat this, guys, then wear safety glasses. Do remember this is stainless steel. Stainless steel has a tendency to snag and grab things, so be very aware of the fact that you may shatter a wheel. And there's the grab where I mentioned. I'm going to put my gloves on. Should have done that at the beginning. Combination of protection plus easy to grip this, it's shiny. You can see how easy it would be to break that. Really easy is the answer. But I got my one split in. Number 2. 3 little gaps like that around the circumference. And that allows me to slide that clamp on up to the nuts, and it's going to clamp the tail end of that really hard. So we'll just give these a clean up before we fit them, because they're easiest to get at the moment. Coat of wax on it, off that, and it should stay shiny for a long time to come. Okay, ready for installation. It is hard to eye these tailpipes up in terms of length because it's all curves on the car and they don't follow the contour in that direction, but I'm damn close, so we're just gonna tighten up. I was basically leaning my head on the reversing light on the tail light cluster and looking straight down and seeing what shape I could see, and this piece on the far side from where you're looking was just out of view, and I was doing it to match with the other side. There we go. Okay, so with the rain coming down, essentially job finished. I'll just give you a quick show underneath, then I'll take the microphone off, attach it to the camera, leave it out here, start her up just so you guys can hear it because I know you're desperate to, and I'll just do a few checks around underneath, make sure I've got no blows and leaks, and let her warm through gently whilst the fire gum sets. Still got the wheels to put on, but again, useful because I can see all the joints. Okay, so engine end, catalytic converters, the two pipes to the original centre box, or X box, because it shares gases and pulses and is part of the system that creates a scavenging effect, for those of you who know what you're talking about with exhausts. Back pressure is always bad, don't let anybody tell you otherwise unless it's a two-stroke, but scavenging effect and gas velocity is important. So centre box has to be right. Then we're going to Adamesh stage 2, now fitted with nice stainless steel band clamps up and over the axle, completely unrestricted this time, no flattened pipes whatsoever, full bore pipes, hence even without the boxes, challenge to fit, and then straight out through beautiful elegant pipes with some really subtle kinks and curves in to the tailpipe. Just while I'm under here, where I've got the hanger bracket there, just after it is a small kink in the pipe where the pipe goes in your image off towards the centre of the car. It's important that the clamp is engine side of that kink, or you'll never ever manage to get the tailpipe in the middle of the aperture. New hangers, and on mine modified tailpipe clamps, but you can just put the little screws in the holes and everything is absolutely fine. I just did it because I've got them and I'm a bit of a pedant when it comes to this sort of stuff. I replaced the really long bolts in the clamps with shorter bolts. Band clamps everywhere. Biggest challenge is probably hooking it up onto the bracket above the IRS. And nice and clean. Back round to this side. The only thing I've messed up a little bit is just getting a lot of fire gum on my exhaust there. But that's fine, because I'll paint the back of the centre box with some satin black VHT paint once things are all settled down. So, this is the moment you've been waiting for. Can't take her out because, I mean, look at the state of the... It's pouring down. But let's do the do. It's not an exact replica of any sound you're going to have heard before because the car's inside the garage. But let's see how we get on. good idea, whilst everything's still cold, go underneath and examine for leaks, because you can literally touch stuff with your hand around all the clamps. So no leaks at all. Well, I hope you enjoyed that half as much as I did. I'm going to go in now because wet. Next time I come out, I should just pop the wheels on and drop the car out, and we'll be able to do, hopefully, some running and some sound checks. Thanks for sticking with us on this. If you want an Adamesh Stage 1, Stage 2 system, then I'll put a link in the description below this video. This is not sponsored. So, you know, check out other makes and brands, but this is what I've chosen because I don't think you can beat it for value for money, simple as that. Quality is good. Every system you buy is going to have a few little challenges in terms of fitting because, as we've said, there's a reason that Jaguar's exhaust system is so distorted and hammered around. There's not a lot of space under there. So don't read anything into that whatsoever. Choose a system that suits your budget, choose a system that suits your needs. We'll do the sound checks and see how we get on. Love you all. Please subscribe, comment, like, and click the little bell icon, else you won't get told when there's a new video coming out. See you soon. Bye.